Since we began testing CarJitsu back in 2021, I have not been more excited about a matchup than I am this one. It's the top contender Groundshark on your right and the undisputed champion Zach Moore in the passenger seat. And the first thing you'll notice is there's a lot less urgency getting out of the seatbelt here in round one than you've seen in the earlier matches tonight. And that's because Groundshark is an assassin with his Darce choke, and Zach Moore knows this. You can see those of you that train jiu-jitsu or are adept at the art form will notice there's already been 2 setups for the Darce choke by Groundshark, and he's looking at another one right now. Zach Moore knows to prepare for the Darce. Groundshark has finished all 3 of his opponents at CarJitsu with that same finishing move, and he's looking for it again. Zach Moore's told me earlier today that his game plan is to just milk the clock. He wants to get top position. He wants to just grind on Groundshark for 3 rounds and then score the first point in sudden death to retain the title. It looks like his game plan is working so far, but we're just 1 minute into this 2-round scheduled fight. Groundshark got a little sloppy there with his left arm, and Zach wanted to threaten for a moment, and immediately Groundshark pivots. Groundshark, 2-stripe brown belt. Zach Moore, a white belt. There's a huge gap in the jiu-jitsu knowledge between these 2 competitors, but there's also a huge gap in wrestling ability, and that's where Zach Moore has the opportunity to upset Groundshark for the first time here tonight. The top pressure of Zach Moore is incredible. He's pushing down with his hips. He's got chest pressure, and he's smashing Groundshark into that driver's side door. He wants to push that left knee down so that he can go ahead and drag his right knee up and mount Groundshark. There's a chance to finish the match if he's able to do that. Oh, and look here. Crafty guy, Zach Moore. He's got the back of Groundshark's neck over the door, and he's using shoulder pressure to try to force the choke. And Groundshark says, no, no, no. He says, don't try that on me. And now Zach Moore is going to back off and probably re-engage quite quickly here.
Where you going? Get back here.
All right, Groundshark says, come back here, come and fight. But I hardly believe that's what he wants. I think Groundshark would far prefer to be in the back seat where there's more room to work. But Zach Moore's controlling round 1, and so far sticking with his game plan. 30 seconds remain. He's going to try that choke again. He's got the back of Groundshark's neck over the side of the door, and he's using head, neck, and arm pressure to try to force the choke. But Groundshark's just a little bit too skilled for something like that. These guys having some words between the 2 of them. They're both friendly competitors, but neither one of them have any intention of losing this match. 3 seconds left in round 1, and what that means is there's no clear winner, which means we will now switch seats and immediately start the second round without a break. That was a great match. That was a great round for our champion, Zach Moore. But in the end, the defense of Groundshark has kept this match even. Now our officials are going to take another look at the car here. Earlier tonight, one of our competitors' left foot went through the center console. And in another match, we lost the driver's side headrest. But the car is holding up, and it's going to be tested. All right, Zach's just informing Groundshark that there's no headrest in the back there. I think Groundshark was aware, but that's a very considerate thing for a guy who's going to just try to smash you. All right, this time a little bit more urgency. Zach Moore tries to close the distance quickly. He's got an underhook, and he's trying to smash Groundshark into the back seat. Now, Groundshark will gladly go to the back seat, but he's going to try to smash Zach back first. He wants to be on top. Now, it looks like he's going to try to wrap that Darce up again, and oh, my goodness, he's going to threaten the Darce, but it looks like Zach's onto him. Little bit of a fight here, and Zach scrambles into mount and now presses Groundshark into the back seat. This is a big moment. Groundshark now underneath Zach Moore. He needs to get out from between the seats. He needs to get his hips into the back seat so that he can fight. All of the weapons that Groundshark will have in the back seat will involve his legs, and okay, he's done it. Groundshark's pulled his knees up. He's moved himself completely into the back seat, and here comes more to follow. It is now 90 degrees inside this car. It is absolutely miserable. There's no ventilation in the back seat, and there is no way of opening the door to reset. So this fight is absolutely brutal at this point. We're in round 2, less than 2 minutes remain, and Groundshark is now looking for a try. He's looking for anything that he can do. He's getting his hips up as high as possible. We're probably going to see a triangle attempt at some point, but he would much rather take the back. Groundshark, very, very methodical, very patient, and as you can see, he's in great shape here. No injuries. He's not in trouble. He's just being smashed, and that's what Zach Moore does. Just over a minute left in the second round. If we get to the end of the second round without a submission, that means there's no clear winner, and we'll move to the back seat for round 3. All right, baseball bat choke attempt from Zach Moore, and Groundshark says, well, that's not going to happen. But now Zach's going to go ahead and pressure some more.
1 minute, guys, 1 minute.
Now, he's feigning a few attempts here, but keep in mind, Zach Moore wants to finish this fight after 3 rounds in sudden death. He wants to go 9 minutes with Groundshark and possibly more. Groundshark obviously wants the finish, and at any point in this match, Groundshark is very, very dangerous. Look at his face. He doesn't see himself as being in trouble at all in this situation. But, of course, no one's fished out the seatbelt yet. And he just told Zach no. Very congenial, both of these competitors. This is your typical wrestler versus jiu-jitsu matchup. And it's going to end, like many of them do, with no clear winner after 2 rounds. Zach Moore going just in the direction that he intended. Groundshark still looking for an opening.
First dominant position wins. Knee on belly. Mount. Full mount. Getting past the guard.
Our lead official, Kyron Bowen's, explaining to these gentlemen that there will be no seat belts as we start the 3rd round. And at the end of the 3rd round, if there is no submission, we will immediately transition into sudden death, where the first point scored wins the match. And that's exactly what the plan is for Zach Moore, who just asks specifically once again, the first point wins the match. And Mr. Bowen says yes. And we're off. All right, so Zach Moore out quickly. Very fast hips. He's immediately on top of Groundshark, who isn't going to give it up that easily in the back seat, contrary to what you may have heard. All right, Groundshark's going to push the head down of Zach. He's going to try to get himself into a position where he can threaten with that Darce again, and here it comes. Okay, and Zach's out. Fantastic match. These guys are absolutely exhausted, but they're both in great shape. So we're probably going to see a good 2 minutes of action here, unless Groundshark can take the back, get to the side, or somehow threaten with his hips. And right now, Zach Moore's got complete control of the situation here. But do not give up on Groundshark. Groundshark is one of the most inventive CarJitsu athletes in the entire world, and he's a trendsetter. Listen to the breathing. These are 2 elite athletes. They're both physically exhausted. And you could hear a pin drop in this room right now. We've got an entire warehouse full of jiu-jitsu athletes who have been chomping at the bit to see this main event all evening, and there's not a sound. This is a game of inches here. Groundshark's looking at the camera as if to say, I'm okay, but his left arm is being jerked on quite a bit by Zach Moore. Zach's making his way to the back here. This is not something that Groundshark wants to risk. Zach Moore on your back is not a good position. Groundshark can threaten from literally any other position, but if Zach Moore gets to the back, this match is all but over. Groundshark very relaxed. He knows what he's doing, but he's just inches away from a bad situation. This is the World CarJitsu Championship. These two gentlemen have earned their spot at the top of the rankings, and this is anybody's match. Someone will leave this car as the middleweight champion, and it's hard to forecast who that will be. Right now, I would say the slight edge goes to Zach Moore. In 30 seconds, he will have an opportunity to gain mount, knee on belly, or take the back of Groundshark, and he will immediately win the match. Groundshark knows this, and so he's looking to make a move very, very soon. Let's keep our eyes on him here. His left arm's being jerked on quite a bit. But now expect to see Zach Moore move himself into position to score this point. This was his plan. Let's see if it works.
Position wins. If you get past the legs, you need to secure a side controller.
Both of our officials are staring in the windows from either side of the car, both high-level grapplers themselves. The first man to score a point here is going to be the champion. And Groundshark's pivoting here. He's making some moves. Groundshark's put himself in a position where he'll be hard to score on, but Zach Moore's grinding. Head pressure from Zach Moore. He's got a hold of the back of the seat.
Yeah.
And these guys are absolutely exhausted. 10 minutes now with no break inside of a 91-degree vehicle. All right, and in this moment, Zach has just gained the upper hand. Groundshark is very difficult to score on. Nice long legs. He can pull them up and defend. He can get the butterflies quickly. Very quick hips. He's going to go outside of the car. He's trying to open the door. He's trying to get away. There are no leg locks allowed in CarJitsu Championship, so he knows that he's safe. Wow. Groundshark makes his way out the window to reset. He's gotten stuck here inside the seat.
There you go. I couldn't lift it.
Okay. Wow, I've never seen anything like that before in all of the years that we've been doing CarJitsu, but Groundshark's crafty. He takes advantage of a technicality in the rules here, and we are in sudden death, and he's going to have a restart.
Back in the first dominant position wins.
If you've been watching CarJitsu Championship for a while, you'll know that was a legendary decision, and that worked out well for him. The title is on the line. It's anyone's match at this point. The first point scored will win. Let's go. And we're off. Zach Moore gets the upper hand. Pressure, pressure, pressure. He's transitioning to the back, and he's looking for mount. One knee behind, one knee in front, and a lot of pressure. Unfortunately, Groundshark cannot force another restart. Only one per round, and so he's going to have to pull something out. It almost looked like a tap. It looks like we're going to continue here. Groundshark's in okay position, but he's got to keep his hips in the right spot or he's going to get scored on right here. Zach Moore looking for mount. Zach Moore trying to keep his belt. He's in mount. He's getting the 3 count. And Zach Moore is the winner of the match and still the middleweight world CarJitsu champion. Unbelievable match by both competitors. Wow. Wow. Congratulations to both men on a great fight. But we're going to have Groundshark go to the medical area. And Zach Moore is now going to have his post-fight interview with Mark the Hammer Coleman.